Morning, everybody. Nice to have a cup of coffee with you again. I hope you had a nice weekend. Shout out to our Vincentian, retired people in Perryville, Missouri. But I want to put a personal shout out to Laura and Elodie. We're praying for you. Please get better soon. So, what's on my mind? I got a question. Is it over yet? And I'm not talking about the COVID. I'm talking about the election. And I have some reflections about it that I want to share with you. These are the things that I remember. I remember the $1.4 million that was spent on snacks and pizza and fries to give to people who were standing in line for a long time to vote. And all these people contributed to it from all over the United States. And they ended up spending $1.4 million. And then I remember also two neighbors. And they both were voting for a different candidate for president. But they were neighbors. And they each had a sign. Sign for Biden and a sign for Trump. And one morning, one of them got up and saw that their neighbor had his sign taken down. Somebody stole it. And he went out and got another sign for his neighbor. The sign of his opponent. The sign of the person he was not going to vote for. But he said being a neighbor and a friend was more important. Tell you what else I remember. Two candidates for the governor of Utah. They did an ad together, letting everybody in Utah know that they both wanted the best for the state, and they both would work for it. And I also remember, I'm very grateful for the long drawn-out election because, man, I got to watch a lot of reruns. I got to watch Lone Ranger. Can you believe it? I mean, I just didn't want to watch anymore. Maybe I was like you. What can I find on television? Just to give me something else to watch. So I was watching reruns of Lone Ranger. And I was thinking about all the stuff that just to distract me. Because a lot of times, it seems to me, we need to find something in the midst of the suffering or the difficulty or the distasteful or whatever upsets us. We need to look for what is good in that. I mean, Jesus, he taught that. You remember? And I know my brother put this in his station book, but I remember that Jesus found happiness and the joy in the midst of suffering. It wasn't getting rid of it. He just found in the midst of whatever's distasteful and suffering, he found the joy in seeing his mom or seeing his friends. And I think that's the message for me, that in the midst of what became hard to watch, to listen, I needed to focus on what is good. I need to do that all the time. Because things aren't always going to be what I want. They're not always going to be good. But I think I can always reflect on the good. So what's that? I got to look around more. I got to be much more aware of people who are doing good things. All those people that got the snacks for people waiting in line. That's going on all the time. I gotta look for that. Because you see, when I'm upset and I just want to look at reruns of Lone Ranger, I'm thinking about me. And when you start looking at the good that's going on in the midst of whatever seems to be bad, you find good people. You find neat things that are going on. And I think that's part of our life and our call. Isn't that what evangelization is all about? Talk about bringing good news to the poor. That's what Vincent had us do. How do you bring good news to the poor? You got to let them know you care for them. They need to see the good in the midst of their pain. Who's going to do that? It's got to be us. We should be the people who are bringing that good news to people who are hurting. Because maybe they just can't find a rerun of Lone Ranger. Maybe they won't find all the snacks in the midst of their pain. Maybe they'll still be hungry. So I really believe that this drawn-out election, made me think about, where's the good in all of it? And that's probably the lesson of life, that we need to find what is good. And that's really what, to me, evangelization is about. Because then we're able to let people see the good news, that God cares, that He's alive in how we treat people, that they're able to see that God is alive because we do stuff that nobody would ever expect. And usually it's in the midst of when there's pain and suffering, when things aren't going so good. And then we find that there are values that are important. Values of caring for other people. Values of bringing good news when people are hurting. We ought to be the people that others look to say, hey, you know what? You can't believe what she did. You can't believe what he did. They didn't have to, and they did. And that's the call. I believe that's the call of everybody. So, yeah, I think it's over. And hopefully the good is celebrated. The good of people. Because God made us to be good. And I think He wanted us to bring that goodness to other people. And always at the end of our time together, we always say our mission prayer, because we say it because we care for people. We want miracles to happen because we genuinely care. So please join me, if you have your holy card handy. Divine Savior, transform me into yourself. May my hands be your hands. May my tongue be your tongue. Grant that every faculty of my body may serve only to glorify you. Above all, transform my soul and all its powers, that my memory, my will, and my affections may be the memory, the will, and the affections of you. I pray you to destroy in me all that is not of you. Grant that I may live but in you, and by you, and for you, and that I may truly say with St. Paul, I live now, not I, but Christ lives in me. God bless. Stay safe and be good.